Have you ever stood at a pivotal moment and missed it just because you hesitated for a few seconds? You were about to raise your hand in a meeting, but pulled back, afraid your words might sound foolish. You wanted to apologize, but let your pride speak first. You saw an opportunity, but thought, "I'm not ready. Maybe later." And so, you stayed silent. Still. Let it slip away. Not because you're weak. Not because you lack courage. But because you gave fear just enough time to step in and take over. Bullseye. According to behavioral science, humans have about 30 seconds after a spark of inner courage before the brain's alarm system kicks in and starts painting negative scenarios. Everyone will laugh at you. You're going to fail. This isn't meant for you. Pushpin. And if you don't act within those 30 seconds, you almost certainly won't act at all. Electric light bulb. But if you manage to insert a tiny action within that first 30 seconds. White right pointing back hand index. You can disrupt the fear response. White right pointing back hand index. You can do the thing you truly want. White right pointing back hand index. You can begin rewriting the entire trajectory of your life. That's why we have the 30-second rule of courage. Not to erase fear, but to act before fear gets a chance to speak. If you've ever let a moment pass because of hesitation, if you're still waiting to feel ready before you begin, white right pointing back hand index, then this video is for you. Bullseye. Don't just watch, take action. Speech balloon. Comment below, I choose to act before fear takes over. Thumbs up sign. Hit like if you've ever experienced those missed moments. Bell. And don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Momentum, where you'll learn how to lead yourself through every inner obstacle. Part 1. Why do you want to act, but always pull back? Understanding the brain's fear reflex. There's a common paradox. You really want to do it. You think about it constantly. You know that taking action could change something important in your life. But the moment you're about to actually do it, you freeze. Your heart races. Your palms get sweaty. A flood of negative thoughts rushes in. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I mess it up? What's happening? You've just been intercepted by your brain's self-defense mechanism. According to neuroscience, when you're about to do something outside your comfort zone, like speaking up, taking a risk, or facing a challenge, your brain activates its survival alarm system. White right pointing back hand index. This is a primitive function designed to protect you from social risks, which, back in ancient times, were seen as life-threatening dangers. So what happens inside your brain? The signal to act is first triggered by the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for conscious decision-making. You feel the urge. You want to speak. There's a spark of excitement. But within the next 10 to 30 seconds, the amygdala, the fear and threat detection center, starts sending the opposite message. Stop. Don't do it. Because your brain can't tell the difference between a real survival threat and a social discomfort like embarrassment, rejection, or failure. At that point, your body reacts. Your heart rate spikes. Your thoughts spiral into anxiety. White right pointing back hand index. And if you don't take action within that critical 30-second window, your brain concludes the situation is unsafe, dragging you back into your old comfort zone. Electric light bulb. This is why fear doesn't strike immediately, it comes after the courageous impulse. You're not lacking courage. You're just missing a fast enough response before fear takes the wheel. Pushpin. A relatable example. You're sitting in a meeting. You have a great idea you want to share. First 5 seconds, your heart beats faster. You're ready to raise your hand. By 10 seconds, you begin doubting. Has someone already said this? Will I sound silly? By 25 seconds, you start convincing yourself to stay quiet. Stopwatch # at 30 seconds, you let the moment pass. Another chance lost. This is when the 30-second rule becomes your silent ally. It reminds you. Raise your hand first. Let fear speak later. Step forward first. Confidence will follow action. Don't wait for fear to go away before you start. Start first, so fear never gets the chance to stop you. Part 2. What is the 30-second rule? And why is it a psychological hack against fear? You may have heard this quote before. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. That's exactly what the 30-second rule helps you do. It's the bridge between intention and action. A brief window, just enough for you to take that first step before fear has a chance to speak. White heavy checkmark simple definition. The 30-second rule is a personal commitment to take a small action within 30 seconds of having a courageous thought. No overthinking. No waiting for the perfect moment. No giving your brain time to paint a disaster. Pushpin the action can be as simple as raising your hand to speak, typing the first line of a message, standing up and walking toward the stage, writing the opening sentence of that apology email. It might be small, but it's strong enough to shatter your psychological wall. Why does it work? A behavioral science perspective. If you act before the amygdala fully takes control, you activate the brain's positive behavior circuits, creating momentum. Soften the internal alarm, because your body no longer perceives imminent danger. Rewire your brain's reflex loop from intention overthinking fear delay. 2. Intention action confidence reinforced. Pushpin in other words. You don't wait to feel courageous to act. You act to become courageous. Bullseye the 30-second rule neutralizes two major courage killers. 1. Overthinking. Should I say no? Maybe wait for a better time. What if I mess it up? The longer you think, the less likely you are to act. Solution: count 1 to 30 and do the first thing your gut told you to do. Don't give your brain time to counterattack. 2. Self-censorship. You're afraid of being awkward. Afraid people won't agree. Afraid of being wrong. So you shut yourself down before anyone else even has the chance. Solution: a single action within 30 seconds interrupts that entire censoring loop. Electric light bulb an example. You're at a networking event. You spot someone you'd love to talk to. Your first instinct: I should introduce myself. In that moment, count 1, 2, 3, and take a step forward. If you wait until second 31, your brain will begin to whisper, "What if this is awkward? Maybe later?" And just like that, you freeze again. Pushpin the core insight of this rule is simple. Don't let your willpower be ambushed by your own analysis. Delay the first second, and you start negotiating with fear. Act in the first second, and you form a pact with courage. Part 3. 3 situations where the 30-second rule matters most, when immediate action is the bravest choice. Courage isn't something you only need in rare, dramatic moments. It's a quiet decision, made over and over again, in the smallest seconds of everyday life. Here are 3 common situations where the 30-second rule can completely change your outcome. White heavy checkmark situation 1, when you want to speak up, but fear judgment. You're in a meeting. A great idea comes to mind. But the room is quiet. Everyone looks serious. You hesitate. Thoughts rush in. Is this idea too simple? What if I say it wrong and lose credibility? Maybe I'll wait for someone else to go first. Electric light bulb. This is exactly the moment when you need the 30-second rule. Count in your head. 1, 2, 3. Then raise your hand. Open your mouth. Start speaking. Bullseye. Even an imperfect comment is more powerful than a brilliant idea buried in silence. White heavy checkmark situation 2, when you need to apologize or speak from the heart. You hurt someone. You know you should apologize. But you're afraid of silence. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of losing face. And so, you let it slide. Day after day. Pushpin. If you don't act within 30 seconds of realizing you need to say something, your mind will start telling a different story. It's not a big deal. they've probably forgotten. Maybe I'll just move on. But deep down, you know, you're just avoiding it. Electric light bulb. The 30-second rule pulls you out of that fear zone with a small but meaningful act. Type the first sentence. Send the message. Make the call. Say, I'm sorry. White heavy check mark. Situation 3, when you want to start something, but feel like you're not ready. You want to start making videos. Learn a new skill. Launch a YouTube channel, write a blog, hit the gym, start a business, or simply share your real thoughts with the world. But then, you say, I'm not ready yet. I need more time. Maybe next month. Explosion symbol. The truth is, you don't lack knowledge. You lack a fast enough action. And the first 30 seconds is your one shot at breaking through the fear of starting. Bullseye. Write the first sentence. Hit record. Open the course registration tab. Do just one action within those 30 seconds, and you've already stepped out of procrastination. Electric light bulb. Emotions don't shape your future, actions do. And sometimes, that action is nothing more than a choice made in the first 30 seconds. Part 4. Train your courage. Turn 30 seconds into a way of life, not just a lucky moment. Courage isn't something you're born with. It's a skill, just like a muscle, that can be trained and strengthened. And like any skill, you only get better by repeating the right action often enough, with intention. White heavy check mark 1. Behavior shapes identity. Every 30-second action is a new neural imprint. Your brain doesn't just remember what happened. It remembers how you responded. Pushpin. When you choose to act within the first 30 seconds, you're sending your brain the message, I'm a person who takes initiative. Creating a new neural imprint, from hesitation to action. Rewiring your emotional response system through a process called neuroplasticity. Electric light bulb. In psychology, this is called identity-based behavior change. It means you change your self-image through repeated behavior. Every time you act quickly, you reinforce this identity. I'm someone who speaks up. Starts. Shows up. Moves forward. White heavy check mark 2. Set triggers to activate your 30-second response. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create your own starting points. Here are some ways to intentionally trigger courage. Set phone reminders that say, if you want to do something, act in 30s. Create a personal rule. If I think about something twice, I must act on it within 30 seconds. Stick a note on your desk. 1, 2, 3. Go. Bullseye. The goal is simple. Replace the reflex of delay with the reflex of action. White heavy check mark 3. Don't wait for confidence, act first, feel later. Most people think, I need to feel confident before I act. But in reality, only action creates confidence. Pushpin. Courage doesn't come from certainty. It begins with a step, even if you're trembling. And in those first 30 seconds, you don't have to be fearless. You just need to tap the keyboard. Raise your hand. Open your mouth. Take a single step. Speech balloon. A courageous person isn't someone without fear. It's someone who knows, if I don't act within 30 seconds, I probably never will. And so, they choose to act. Repeat that long enough, and you're no longer trying to be brave. You become someone who is. Conclusion. Act before fear has a chance. Courage is not about waiting for fear to disappear. It's about moving before fear even gets the chance to rise. The difference between those who act and those who stay still isn't who's less afraid. It's who moves faster before fear takes control. You don't need to be extraordinary. You don't need a miracle. You just need 30 seconds. To say what you truly want to say. To begin what you've been putting off for far too long. To take a step, even if your legs are still shaking. Bullseye. And those 30-second decisions, when repeated enough, will turn you into someone different. Someone bold. Someone free. Most people spend their lives hesitating, waiting to feel ready. But the ones who change the game are the ones who understand this truth. If I don't act in the first 30 seconds, I might never act at all. Explosion symbol: you can't control your emotions, but you can control your first move. And when action leads, courage will follow. Speech balloon: comment below. I choose to act before fear takes over. Thumbs up sign: like this video if it made you reflect on your own life. Bell: subscribe to Everyday Momentum for more tools to rebuild yourself, 1 week at a time. Bullseye: and if you know someone who's still waiting for the right moment, send them this video. You might be giving them the first 30 seconds of courage they've been searching for.